Hello, Zoom humans. My name is Jolene Johnson. I'm the Annalee Dance Director here. I am not a resident of the district. And I am just calling an action about whenever you're looking at public employment and different things that have to do with how this school runs, that you're looking at how programs function, not just numbers. And that as the interim budget comes about, we're always kind of doomsday, right? And then our numbers always come out ahead of the game each time. So I actually asked Andrew for our numbers last year. Our numbers were 1,400 or yeah, 1,450. This year we were 1,473. So we gained 23 students in this year alone. And I know with what's happening around in Santa Rosa City schools, if you're following with ArtQuest and their program, they're kind of dismantling. We have a really big opportunity right now to grab students who are interested in our programs that are thriving and are intact, not ones that are about to potentially be dismantled ourselves here. And so I just want to keep an eye out on that we are looking at when certain cuts are taken. It's one thing to cut a class here or there, but the program can still thrive. But when you're potentially, obviously I'm speaking for myself, a program director of one, right, and you cut half of the program, it's really hard to be competitive and keep my CTE pathway, which maybe some of you don't know, I also have my CTE credential and I'm one of the arts media production. I'm actually only the second one other than Randy Hall. So I would hate for that CTE pathway to not be available to my students, our students, and to have this program that really meets the portrait of a graduate. So thank you for listening. I can't be here later because I have another job to get to right now. Thank you.
Thank you. So the proposed list of reductions in services would send a strong message that our school board supports large class sizes and higher student to staff ratios. This makes no sense, as we know our community members will not send their students to overcrowded classrooms. I remember the pictures on the front page of the Press Democrat the last time our school district made this mistake at Annalee High School. My main point is that most of these cuts represent a reduction in program and would result in larger class sizes and reduced student services. But the proposed dance cuts would negatively impact that program for many years to come. The intro to dance classes are necessary to feed into the higher levels. Without multiple sections, there is no base for enrollment in the next levels. The dance program provides rigor and excellence and is a great selling point for our school. But I speak for how important it is to the non-athletic artistic types like me. The intro classes meet the needs of second-year PE requirements. I watched the dance show last week. The beginning dance students are getting a lot of exercise, learning technical CTE, PE, and fine art subject matter, and creating lifelong fitness habits, which is the purpose of physical education and why it is a 2-year graduation requirement. I have seen countless students turn their personal lives around, gaining confidence, self-esteem, and physical strength through active participation in our dance program. The dance program is important to our community. I am a teacher here. I have 2 students who have graduated. I have another one coming up in a couple years, and I live in Guerneville. It is important to our community, and I personally would feel like gutting this program would be yet another disgusting bait and switch with regards to the closing of El Molino High School. And the promise of having it all if we could just get it on this one consolidated campus in Sebastopol. All classes in the Annalee Dance program are College Board approved fine arts. The curriculum is also aligned to a CTE industry pathway, and the instructor has spent personal money and time to earn a valid California CTE credential, which provides a lot of matching funds for our school district. Fine arts are also funded through Prop 28, and our district needs to be careful about making cuts to fine arts. Prop 28 funding is audited to ensure it's always increasing and not being supplanted into existing sections. Prop 28 requires that funding supplement existing arts education funding and programming. This means there should be an increase in the number of arts educators overall.
That is your
That's all I
time.
have to say tonight. Thank you.
Okay,
we are now going to adjourn to closed session. All right. We are back in open session. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And the first order of business is we pledge allegiance to the flag, which is in the back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we need to approve the agenda. Would someone like to make a motion that we approve the agenda?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Input from the public regarding items not on open session. So I have got not on the, I thought it should be not on the agenda.
It is.
Okay, sorry, I read it wrong. We have got three. So Jamie Malone.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Hi, I'm Jamie Malone, Laguna High School teacher. I come to you today with a mystery that I hope that you can help us figure out. I beg you to help us figure out for the success and the future of Laguna High School and our students. Why do we not have the numbers to keep Laguna as a viable school? As you may know, we could hold 20 to 40 more students, but instead, next year we'll be dropping a teacher. So we're doing exciting and amazing things. I can't wait for you to hear from our students at our student report today. But I'm going to tell you who we are. I'm going to tell you what I know. I'm going to tell you what I've been told. And I'm going to ask you some questions and tell you what I ask of you. So who we are. We're a group of very passionate teachers who want to help struggling students. We're a small continuation high school with individualized attention, differentiated instructions, hands-on projects, alternative programming. We provide for early grads and many supports for life after high school. What I know, I moved from Annalee High School to Laguna to serve this population. I had many students asking me to go to Laguna, and they were told that they couldn't. I was at Annalee last Friday. I visited with a handful of teachers, and they told me about a handful or more of students that they would refer to Laguna. I know that our numbers do not support our program. And we're generally not sent students that are simply looking for smaller classes or alternative programs. So trying to figure this out, I've talked to a lot of people. So this is what I'm told. Don't know if it's true, but what I'm told. I'm told that ADA funds are the issue and the sites are prioritized over student performance. I'm told that families and teachers have a very negative view of our school. I'm told that counselors are solely in charge of referring students and they simply have a lot going on. What I question, can we have other teachers and others make referrals to increase our numbers? Do ADA funds impact student referrals? And can the district work to unify the approach of all our schools for all of our students? Can we prioritize building Laguna at the same time that we're trying to build a whole new school? So what I ask of you that you're proactive, number one habit of highly effective people and groups. I ask that you prioritize Laguna. And I ask you to spread the word of what a positive school we are and what great things we have going on. I want to hand you guys our newsletter so you can read about some of the things that we have going on. Finally, I invite you to come visit. And our students are working really hard on our spring festival on April 18th. So please save the date and come. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are really great questions. And I think we need to get together and come up with some good answers. So thank you for that. Jeannie?
Yeah.
Are you on this? Wow. Okay.
I'm wearing a bit of a different hat right now. Thank you. I was asked by Loretta Castleberry to give the alumni report. She wanted to let us know that the new lighting and sound upgrades are running in the theater as part of the alumni $20,000 donation towards those upgrades. And my understanding is that the sound and the lighting is working really well. Recently, the alumni partnered with the Boosters Club to replace the tattered curtains in the big gym. And for any of you that have been in there lately, I wish I could show you a picture if you haven't seen them, but they look terrible. So I'm so happy that we were able to, each organization spend $3,500 to replace the curtains. We also wanted to announce that our only fundraiser that we do every year is the Anley Alumni Golf Tournament. It will be Friday, May 2nd at the Windsor Golf Course, starting at noon. There is going to be a limited number of golf teams, so if you're interested, get your team together now. And if you need to make a reservation, you can contact Loretta Castleberry by email for a flyer so that you can fill that out. Also, we are collecting donations for items for our silent and our live auction. And if you have something that you would like to donate, please let myself know, Linda know, or Loretta know. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Junie Curtis.
I'm Junie Curtis, and I teach Spanish here. And I wasn't expecting. There's usually not many people here, so I wasn't expecting a crowd. Just a general report. I was going to say something about the freshman class. We have a really wonderful freshman class this year, and we're having a very good positive experience. Although they come from a lot of different schools, they're getting along and meeting each other and learning to know each other. We've been working hard on the cell phone ban in the freshman classes, and it's been going pretty well. We'd like to see even more teachers and more participation in that because it's meant a lot more social contacts. The academic support classes have been really great for the freshman class. It seems like, I don't know what I'm talking about, but it seems like they're more than there used to be. And they're really being able to communicate with their academic support teachers well. And so having that sort of smaller school environment where an academic support class is almost working like a homeroom is really positive for them. And then just generally the level of commitment and the level of work they've been bringing to the table is really amazing. And that's a really diverse group that is, I want to just celebrate all of the different freshmen who are coming from so many different schools and so many different backgrounds and getting along with each other. And so it's just sort of, I don't really know what I mean by that, but I just wanted to mention that I'm excited to be in this era at Anley and seeing all these wonderful freshmen. So that's what
Thank you. Okay. We are at public comments submitted by email. We have those. Okay, we're at the consent calendar. Do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
Second,
I second.
any comments or questions or anything anybody wants to pull? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Action on items heard in closed session. Sean.
You have a handful to report out. The board took action in closed session under agenda item D1 to approve. The vote was Buckner, aye. Trinilla, aye. Fernandez, aye. Helton, aye. Gutierrez, aye. The board took action in closed session under agenda item D2 to approve a request for a 0.2 FTE leave of absence from a certified staff member for the 2025-2026 school year. The vote was Buckner, aye. Trinilla, aye. Fernandez, aye. Helton, aye. Gutierrez, aye. Also, the board took action in closed session under agenda item D2 to deny a request for a 0.20 FTE leave of absence from a certificated staff member for the 2025-2026 school year. The vote was Buckner, nay. Trinilla, nay. Fernandez, nay. Helton, nay. Gutierrez, nay. The board took action in closed session under agenda item D2 to approve a request for a 0.20 FTE leave of absence from a certificated staff member for the 2025-2026 school year. Vote was Buckner, aye. Trinilla, aye. Fernandez, aye. Helton, aye. Gutierrez, aye. The board took action in closed session under agenda item D2 to deny a request for a 0.40 FTE leave of absence from a certificated staff member for the 2025-2026 school year. Vote was Buckner, nay. Trinilla, nay. Fernandez, nay. Helton, nay. Gutierrez, nay. And the last one, the board took action in closed session under agenda item number D3 to approve the release of 2 staff members employed as temporary certificated employees for the 2024-2025 school year. The releases will take effect on the final day of the school year, June 5th, 2025. Vote was Buckner, aye. Trinilla, aye. Fernandez, aye. Helton, aye. And Gutierrez, aye.
Thank you.
I just wanted to tell folks that there's some empty seats up here in the front and the first 2 rows, so you don't have to stand.
I'd like to ask the board and the powers that be whether we can move up an item. We've got a bunch of people here that want to speak to B3 I think it's mostly around the dance program, and out of consideration for those folks, are you guys okay if we pull them up now and let them speak rather than have them wait through all of our malarkey and then we can go
I'm
back?
okay with it.
Yeah. Rio, does that make sense? Okay, so if that's okay with everyone, we're gonna go to B. We could,
They can't stay, and that they would have an opportunity to speak at that time.
but I thought we were just gonna move the discussion item up. Yeah, let's move the whole item up, and that way, because I think it's important that folks also hear some of whatever discussion we're gonna have about it too. Okay, I move that we move item B3 to the current moment. Is everyone in favor of that? I think we're
So you
in favor.
probably should state that you'd like to amend the agenda.
Okay, I'd like to amend the agenda so that item number B3 will be heard. Let me go back to where we are, in front of reports. All those in favor?
I'll second. You need a second. I'll
Second,
second.
Okay, in favor? Okay, thank you.
Aye.
So, because there's so many people, I'd like to ask people to please keep your comments to 1 minute, but we're not going to in any way limit how many, anyone that's here that would like to speak, please, we'd like to hear your comments. But please keep it to about 1 minute. I'm just going to take these
Just
in the random order.
Changing the time clock right now and a couple points of order. The microphone is right over there. It will be
Okay.
helpful if when you're done speaking, just leave the microphone on for the next person.
Executive Director of Human Resources, Dan Blake, would,
Mhm.
after a board motion and second, launch the item. The board would then discuss, public comment, and then take a vote.
Dan?
Do you want him to make the motion?
Yeah, you do a motion in a second. And then
Okay.
yeah.
So the motion is about consideration of approval of Resolution 15. Would anyone like to make that motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 15, 2024, 2025 regarding reduction or discontinuance of certain particular kinds of services for the 2025-2026 school year. Certificated staff.
I second.
All those in favor?
No.
Nope, sorry.
Who's gonna-
Discussion, Dan.
Thank you. So this, as you said in the title there, does involve the preliminary, and I want to emphasize preliminary, reductions to certificated staff being proposed for the 25-26 school year. It's always at this time, prior to the March 15th deadline, which is in Ed Code, that we we look at our budget projections and enrollments, current class sizes, as well as what we're looking at for signups for next year, and we bring our preliminary reductions, which the terminology used is reductions in particular kinds of service, to the board for your approval. What you'll see is a list there on the item and on the attachment of the resolution that total 5.6 full-time equivalent, or FTE, positions. I do want to note that as you go through that 5.6, the retirements that we have had people come forward with thus far this year, the resignations we've had, the leaves of absence that have been granted, and then the temporary releases that you just approved, will absorb all but 1.2 FTE of these 5.6 reductions. So we were, in that regard, pleased that we were able to have largely avoid impacts on current staff. That being said, there was a need to make cuts across academic programs and different instructional services, and so you'll see that full list there on the item. With that, I'm open to any questions that the board has, and I know there's going to be comment on some of this.
Can you please list those that are being recommended for the public that may not have an agenda in front of them?
Happy to do that. Yeah, thank you. So I'll just go down the list of the following preliminary reductions that are being recommended. 1.0 FTE academic support instructional services, 0.40 FTE CTE arts, music, and entertainment dance instructional services, 0.20 FTE CTE arts, music, and entertainment instrumental music instructional services, 0.40 FTE English instructional services, 0.20 FTE DEI teacher on special assignment instructional services. 0.20 FTE fine arts teacher on special assignment instructional services. 1.0 FTE mathematics instructional services. 0.60 FTE physical education instructional services. 0.40 FTE social sciences instructional services. 1.0 FTE special education instructional services, and 0.20 FTE WASC teacher on special assignment instructional services.
Great, thank you. So I think we'll hear public comments and then the board will have a healthy discussion. So Naoko Tokuda, did I say that right?
This is a message from a mother of a dancer who was not able to be here today. Our daughter has danced at Annalee with Miss J's program for 4 years. These classes and this program benefits our teens. Dance is not only physically and mentally engaging, but builds confidence. Getting on stage and performing is part of the process. Dance is a great alternative for teens to get off their screens and do something physical and creative. Dance introduces them to something they can do with their whole lives. Miss J gives them so much of herself because she believes in these students and in the art of dance. In the beginning of her senior year, our daughter was diagnosed with cancer. Dance has become a literal lifeline for our daughter. This art form gives her physical strength, mentally keeps her going, and gives her purpose. We can't thank Miss J enough with her classes. Make sure to attend performances and see why dance should be supported. Please use common sense and do not cut these classes. They are too important. Thank you, Elisa St. Marie.
Thank you. Jonah.
Hello? Okay. Over the past year, we've repeatedly been told that our school is losing students to other districts with advanced arts programs. This issue was so significant that we created the Academy of Innovative Arts. And while this academy offers valuable programs, it does not include traditional art electives, and that's fine. It has its own focus. But the truth still is that neighboring districts would continue to attract students because of their thriving art programs, such as ArtQuest. But with ArtQuest facing drastic cuts unrelated to our district, we have the unique opportunity. By strengthening our dance program, we could position ourselves as a magnet for students seeking these programs. Many of our feeder schools already have well-enrolled dance programs, so the interest is clearly there. What is the reason behind this proposed reduction? If this decision is being justified as a financial necessity, we need to take a closer look at the numbers. The purpose of Prop 28 is to stabilize funding for arts and music education so that schools can develop and maintain high-quality programs. And I'm out of time, so I'll have someone else come up here and finish this for me.
Esenia, did I have that right? Esenia? Ksenia, thank you. Ksenia. Oh, I met you before.
Annalee High School receives 209,000 specifically for programs like dance. Our Prop 28 plan indicates a remaining balance of 94,000 of this for the same year that cuts would be put into place. Why are we cutting 40% of our arts program when we're receiving state funds to ensure these programs are stable? The opinion of relocating a portion of these remaining funds and allowing us to maintain a successful establishing program would be worthwhile. Schools with vibrant art programs see higher student engagement, better retention rates, and even improved graduation outcomes. This decision would undermine not just our arts education, but also the broader success of our students. It is ironic that we're dedicating the month of March as Art Education Month, while considering to cut off the greatest art programs yearly and half in the month of March. We should make this opportunity for our community to come together to preserve and protect our art programs like dance. These decisions are not made lightly. That is why I believe you will consider what I have said and do what is truly best for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Lily Borgeson.
Is this? My name is Lily Borgeson. I'm an English teacher here and the theater teacher. I know from the Youth Truth data and our WASC report that the student sense of belonging is a huge priority for us. I spend a lot of time with teenagers as a teacher and as a parent. You know what is a major safe haven for students who feel like they don't belong? Arts programs. I don't understand how we can say belonging is our #1 priority while at the same time taking away classes that foster such an incredible space for community and belonging. The timing of this is confusing to me because we made the decision before class signups happened. And while Miss J is in her first year of outreach and to Hillcrest Dance Program, my daughter is an 8th grade dancer at Hillcrest and she can't wait to start Miss J's program next year. And it just seems like it would have been worth it to see how effective this outreach is before making this decision. I can't ignore the gender dynamics I see. The reality is I do not see a strong effort from our school to combat toxic masculinity in our school culture. And now one of our few CTE pathways that is a draw for primarily female identifying students is being gutted
That's your
while
time.
we're pouring resources into CTE programs traditionally appealing to males.
Thank you. Samia Lander.
Hi, I'm Samilia Lander, and I'm a senior at Annalee. I started dance my freshman year, and I've been in dance all 4 years since. I didn't intend to enroll, and so I'm so incredibly grateful I did because Miss J's dance program has been the most consistent part of my high school career. It has allowed me to expand who I am as an individual, explore connection with a group of passionate, like-minded students, and challenge myself with real-world situations beyond anything I was learning in my core education classes, including 7 APs. If you're talking college prep, the arts, but especially dance, has taught me what strict and passionate commitment means and what it means to be part of a loving and supportive community, and why I show up every single day to school. Because of this, I can put impressive statements on my college applications and be excited about the opportunities I have to attend next year. The dance program has transformed my high school experience, and I find it an absolute necessity to provide this to other students incoming. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rebecca Ivanov. Okay.
Me again. So my question is, do we care about female student sense of belonging as much as we care about our male student sense of belonging? I graduated from Annalee in 2002, and there was no dance program. I definitely did not thrive here, and I can say with certainty that if Miss J's program existed, I would have had a completely different high school experience and possibly a different life. I would have had a place that I felt like I belonged. Our arts programs are what attract a lot of our students to our school, and it also what gives them a sense of belonging. So I want to publicly praise Jolene on the program she has built and encourage our administration and the board to support her program as well.
Thank you. Lana McNamara.
To whom it may concern, my name is Jolene Johnson, dance director at Annalee High. I had to work at my other studio job tonight and could not be at this important session. Thank you to me for reading it. I, Jolene, am writing to keep my program at its full capacity. My 2 introduction classes, of which point 2 is supported by Prop 28, helps feed my program. Those classes are larger than the space can hold safely, but given that it's an intro class, we make multiple rotations to be safe and decrease injury, and our movements are smaller and slightly contained, being an introduction class. My Dance 1 class is for beginner dancers who are still learning vocabulary, pointing their feet, and understanding the basics of choreography and performing. Our movements get bigger and bolder, and more rotations make it harder to complete the curriculum needed for them to succeed and grow in the art. Dance 1 is my first CTE pathway class.
That's your
Dance
time.
2 works on doubles, increasing for Jolene. I know, for Jolene.
Sure, go ahead. Finish
Thank
Jolene's
you.
letter.
Dance 2 works on, wait a minute. Yep. Dance 2 works on doubles, increasing confidence, more complex choreography, and increased expectations. Dance 2 is the second CTE pathway, and the dancers' bodies are always using the whole space. Finally, I have Dance 3. These students have honed their performance, choreography, and professional skills. They perform in all 3 of our dance shows. Some get credit for dual enrollment at the SRJC, and this is my capstone for my CTE pathway. These students extend their bodies and are always pushing the boundaries of space while on the ground or in the air. 14 students in this class are pushing its maximum capacity. My room can safely hold between 15 and 20 dancers. This number helps prevent injury and allows me to teach without having to slow my curriculum. If you cut any 2 classes, you are either preventing me from growing the program or developing the CTE pathway with rigor and appropriate differentiation. We have point 2 that can fund my other intro class, since we are no longer using Prop 28 for the PR position. Additionally, our 3-year Fine Arts Prop 28 plan has not yet been completed, so you are cutting it without seeing it through. Additionally, Annalee gets $13,800 per kid. So we only need 2 new kids at our school to technically fund my other section. Last year, our enrollment at Annalee was 1,450. This 24-25 school year was 1,473, 23 more students. Next year, I anticipate even more. So please don't cut this program that supports our Annalee Tigers with confidence, curiosity, balance, collaboration, resilience, communication, and empathy. We say we support the Portrait of the Graduate, we support CTE, and yet you're going to kill the only dance program we have. Santa Rosa City Schools have their own issues. ArtQuest is dismantling. We have an opportunity to grow from the situation surrounding us. Help us keep this program thriving. Do not cut prematurely and keep my classes at the safest size of 15 to 20 kids per class, which is 75 to 100 per the program. And then, thank you, Thank you to everyone who believes in this program. Jolene Johnson.
Thank you. Randy Hall.
Good evening. That's quite the thing to follow up. I like this. My name is Randy Hall. I teach digital media here at Annalee High School. I'm also the stagecraft instructor. I will shorten my comments mostly surrounding how that last one went because it was a doozy. I wanted to just remind the trustees that there is funding, right? We have CTE incentive grant, which can fund sections. We have Prop 28, which can fund sections. And also, just as a side note, don't forget that, Jolene Johnson last year was recognized as the Sonoma County Arts Educator of the Year. And it would be a tragedy to impinge on that with this. Thank you.
Thanks, Randy. Jenna Smith.
My name is Jenna Smith. I have 2 children here at Annalee High School. I have often thought of what teachers most impacted me in high school. It was dance. I remember the room, the teacher, and the personal growth I experienced. I do not remember any of my academic class teachers. I've been the witness to the West County dance program for many years. This year I had the privilege of witnessing my own daughter dancing. What has struck me most about her being in 2 shows this year is how empowered she is after performing. She's excited and inspired to progress in the dance program at Annalee. It is incredible to witness how much the kids work together and push each other. The kids in the audience cheering their friends on as they express themselves through dance. Excuse me, I'm a little... This dance program creates community for these young people, a place that they can feel confident and seen and pushed to do better. High school is a place of in-between. This dance program tends to the in-between space. Miss J tends to the in-between. She watches over these young people and provides space that they can progress, push each other, and strive to move up.
That's your time.
Great, thank you very much. Stacy Drury.
Let's see if this is on. Hi, I'm Stacy Drury. I am the parent of 2 daughters that have been in Miss J's classes since my oldest was in 7th grade. She did 6 years with Miss J, and my other is a junior. I almost said senior, Lily. Is a junior in high school here at Annalee. The idea that you're going to cut the dance program is just extremely frustrating. We are only here at this school because of Miss J. Otherwise, we'd be probably in Windsor after you guys cut Elmo. So the whole idea that you're going to take something that draws people and allows them to become successful young women is just extremely frustrating. I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you. Debbie Yarrow.
Hi, my name is Debbie Yarrow. I'm Arts Education Manager at Creative Sonoma. Creative Sonoma is the county's arts agency. And as you know, there are 4 disciplines that are mandated by our state education code: visual art, theater, dance, and music. The arts are curricular. 5 disciplines, including media arts, have state standards grade by grade. Last spring, Creative Sonoma and in part our partner, the Luther Burbank Center for the Arts, awarded Jolene Johnson Sonoma County Arts Educator of the Year. Also, one of Mrs. Johnson's students accompanied me to a presentation at the board of SCO, and the student shared her experience as a middle schooler, disengaged, uninterested. She started dance class, and it turned her life around, and her parent vouched for that. It's an exciting time for the arts with the promise of Prop 28. The district is receiving approximately $231,000 every year. That's in perpetuity. The district's in reviewing the district's 2 goals. The arts are a tool to use as achieving those goals, as well as addressing the Youth Truth Survey.
That's your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nicholas Randall, please.
Clearly, I am no dancer, but my granddaughter is, and she loves to dance with Miss J and the program here at Annalee for a couple of years now. In your recitation of the proposed cuts, it sounded like dance was going to receive a 0.2 FTE cut. And I'd like to say that as I understand the facilities and the number of students involved, that represents a degradation of the experience for the, for the kids that are left in the program because there isn't enough room to do all the things that classes, if they're jammed together, all those things that the kids need to do in dancing. And some of the other speakers talked about safety and other issues, but you risk by this one cut, this 0.2 FTE, a degradation of the entire program, and that would be a shame. Kids respond, as you know, kids respond to different things in school. And some kids really respond to dance, and it keeps them at it, it keeps them working, and it would be a shame to see this program damaged. Thank you.
Ashley Worley.
Hello, Ashley Worley, Director of Education and Community Engagement at the Luther Burbank Center for the Arts. Tonight, you are proposing to recognize March as Arts and Education Month in the same month that we are looking at these cuts, which is very unfortunate. The decision isn't about numbers. It's really about our students. It's about our teachers and the cultural heart of our schools. One of the teachers, as we've all heard, impacted by these cuts is Jolene Johnson. She represents the very best of arts education here in our county. You've just heard a little bit about the Sonoma County Arts Educator of the Year award that we created with Sonoma County, with Creative Sonoma last year. And I just really want to highlight the fact that cutting classes such as hers removes the opportunity for explore more arts, and it sends the message that their creativity and their passions are expendable. We cannot in good conscience do this to our students. Arts is not a privilege. Arts education is a necessity. Let's not recognize Arts Education Month in words, but in action. Ensure that teachers like Jolene and the programs that they serve remain a vital part of our students' education. Thank you.
Thank you. Paige Greco. Paige here. There you are.
Hi, it's me again. So the thing that I would like to impress upon you is mostly what everybody else has said, in that I think that some of the choices that are being made here have to do with numbers, and that those numbers do not actually reflect the impact that the space that Jolene is using is having on her ability to serve students in the numbers that perhaps we might like to see. We don't have the same facilities here for dance that we did at El Molino, and we can't serve the same amount of students here that we could do there. I'd also like to point out, as the folks from the county and from SCO, from Luther Burbank Center, have come out to tell you, you have one of the best dance teachers, one of the best arts teachers in Sonoma County here. And if we can't make that asset work for us and work for our students, we are not allocating our resources correctly. That we have to be able to look at what it is that we're doing with the choices that we're making money-wise and make different ones. Jolene's a force, community-wise, academically, curriculum-wise, and if we can't actually give her the things that she needs to make sure that our students are served, that is on you, that is on us, and it is a mistake.
That's your time.
Thank you. Kirsten Bunch.
I just shortened mine here on the go. I just wanted to say I'm a parent of 2 students. We are both transfers from Roanoke Park.
And when looking at all the different schools and what they had to offer, Annalee had the best academics as well as all different sports, dance programs, art, FFA, everything that I was looking for. So if they decided to do something else, such as dance or FFA, that option was there. This is why parents choose Annalee, for options to keep their children involved, stay busy, stay focused. It builds a balanced student and later a well-rounded individual. Jolene Johnson has created a strong, powerful dance program, one that is best in the county, hands down. She keeps students hardworking, stay focused, become creative, work with others, and in return get to move up into more challenging dance classes. On top of this, they can even try out for the West County Dance Company, which is an after-school program that is free. Dance gives everyone an opportunity to perform and succeed. The dance program creates unity at school, and their peers are always proud of how well they perform at rallies, dance shows, football games, and community events.
That's your time.
Thank you. Kathy Harris.
Hi, I'm Kathy Harris. My family's lived here for 39 years. My daughter, Allison, graduated from Annalee in 1999, and now her daughter is a sophomore here. This was her first year of taking dance with Jolene, and truly dance has been the light of her life here. You all, I'd say thank you to all of you, staff and community, for making Annalee such a draw. Annalee is the heart of our community, and dance and theater arts and music are the heartbeat. So I really encourage you to reconsider this item and keep the dance funding at least as it is now, and hopefully watching the recital last week and seeing the Hillcrest kids was truly inspiring. I had no idea that something like that was going on in Sebastopol. It is truly special. So I hope that we can protect it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ann Lubin, is that right?
Hello, is it on? I'm Ann Louveau. I've had three children here at Annalee, and one in the dance program now. And I'd like to speak to the way the Annalee dance program fosters bravery in young people. We advise our children to be brave and to take risks, and participating in the dance show, which I believe is required of all the Annalee dance students, is one of the bravest things an adolescent can do. They're up there, they're on the stage, they're under the bright lights, they're in front of their peers and a whole bunch of people they can't even see, and they're just doing their thing, and it's beautiful. They dig deep, they overcome their nerves. Every one of the Annalee dancers did this beautifully in last week's performance. And I'm speaking specifically about bravery, not confidence, which we saw in beautiful abundance on the stage, but the bravery that is the forcing ourselves to do something we're frightened to do, but we believe in its value for ourselves or for others. These kids did it. They learned they could do it. The memory of a personal accomplishment such as this is something a person draws on for decades in education, in profession, and most importantly, when they need to advocate for themselves as adults. This is especially important for young women, as Ms. Borgerson said. Young women have got to have opportunities to do this, and I hope Annalee will prioritize this and give this incredible opportunity to its students into the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Elsa.
Hi, my name is Elsa. I'm currently a student in Intro to Dance, and every day when me and my peers step into the class, we start with a smile and end with laughter. Miss J is one of the most hardest workers, and I can tell she loves teaching dance. This is why I'm here, to advocate on her behalf as well as to voice my own opinions. Each performance we do is a celebration of our unique stories. Dancing is a powerful outlet for emotions. It allows us to express our feelings and learn how to handle them. The studio is a space where students can explore their artistic voices, choreograph with passion, and experiment different styles. Each semester we focus on a different genre of dance, learning the history and the people behind it. Finally, so many things would be lost if the dance program was cut in half. To me and many others, dance is our safe place. I have learned not only about my self-expression, but also my strengths. Next year, I'm hoping to join Dance One, but if the program is cut in half, so are the amount of students. Please, for me, my friends, and especially Ms. J, keep the numbers, help us keep the magic. Thank you.
Thank you. Tyler Ono.
All right, hi, my name is Tyler Ono, and I'm here to protect the functionality of the dance program at Annalee. As a participating member since my freshman year, I'm proud to say that I'm a CTE pathway completer and now on the competition dance team. This program has paved a place for me on campus and opened so many new possibilities for my future, considering my plans to pursue college or dance in college at some capacity. Consolidating our level classes will eliminate advancement to our creative and technical abilities, while fostering a physically unsafe environment in the confined studio spaces provided by the district. It is a known fact that small classes in the arts are vital for students to receive individual attention for growth. And it's immensely worthwhile and important to reallocate budget cuts to maintain the structure our instructor Jolene Johnson sees fit. Without her careful focus and astonishing commitment to her students on and off the clock, which are cultivated in small-scaled classes, I would be nowhere near the dancer and individual I am today, who has been able to win various scholarships and acquire professional experiences in the craft. I would argue that the dance program is one of the most influential performing arts contributing to the culture at Annalee, all while being regarded as one of the best in the county. It is with each intentional section that is leveled appropriately for safety and growth that we are able to produce extraordinary showcases, amp up our school spirit, and participate in community outreach events. Again, I strongly urge you to consider other reduction outlets that would not impact the well-being and innovation of students with a passion for dance. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tyler. Liliana.
I started dancing at Annalee as a freshman in Dance 2, but I have been watching Miss J's dance shows since she taught at El Molino High School. Being able to be in a class that matched my skill level allowed me to receive the attention I needed to advance and improve. Without a diversity of classes, future dancers would not be able to grow and become confident at their own pace, and the dance shows that we put so much effort to and time would not be what they are today. Dance has helped myself and so many others find enjoyment at school and express ourselves creatively. Cutting part of the program would be taking away students' form of self-expression, stopping students from finding something they are interested and passionate about, and discouraging new dancers from finding their potential, and overall proving that you do not value the effort that your students put into this program. I have been very fortunate to be a part of such an amazing group of people that have inspired me so many ways. Ms. J is a truly special teacher, and she has provided so much support and dedication to her students, and we are lucky to have her at this school. Dance is one of the reasons I get out of bed to go to school, and I can say the same for many, many of my peers.
That is your time.
Thank you, Liliana. Abigail.
Hi, my name is Abby Drury. I attend the SRJC where all 3 levels of dance are combined. This not only makes things hard for the instructor to figure out a way to support and appropriately challenge multiple skill levels all in the same class, but it also affects the students. One of the many effects is dancers at a higher skill level, such as Dance 2 or 3, may not be challenged enough, which can hinder their growth and stop them from improving their skills. Dancers at a lower skill level may see their peers and be discouraged and begin to think that they are not good dancers and will never be able to dance as well as their peers, causing them to give up. Too little challenge does not benefit growth and learning, and too much challenge can discourage students, which does not benefit growth and learning. I would assume that Annalee High School wants to encourage growth and learning, but cutting classes in the dance program will do the opposite. It is also extremely dangerous to have over 20 students. My senior year, we had 18 students, and it was pretty packed, as well as during the summer months. When it comes up to 80 or 90 degrees, we don't have AC in that room, or I believe they still don't have AC in that room. It gets really hot, and even if it's half of the class dancing, it is still really hot with a lot of bodies moving in there. And I hope you all realize that Miss J is a wonderful teacher. She has helped me since I've left Annalee High School, and she is part of the reason that I was able to graduate because she helped me a lot. Sorry for getting emotional, but she's an amazing teacher, and I hope you guys all realize that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. That concludes public comment, and thank you all for taking the time and coming out and being really articulate about and passionate. I really appreciate it. So now I think we move to some board discussion.
I have something written
Excuse me?
for our board discussion.
Please.
Thanks. All right. As a part of the leadership team, when the WASC accreditation team came, student leaders had the opportunity to tour them around the school, pointing out all the great aspects of our campus and offered here, including specifically the dance program, the CTE pathways we offer, and our portrait of a graduate vision for student success. One thing I specifically talked about was the relationship between students and teachers. First of all, we are deciding whether or not to dedicate March as Arts Education Month during this meeting, and the fact that we have to discuss reducing this dance program by 40% is a tragedy.
Secondly, like I previously stated, dance is a CTE pathway. If you complete 1, 2, and 3, and for those who complete Intro to Dance, then move up all of the levels, this shows incredible dedication to not only colleges, but the focus and precision that our portrait of a graduate system is supposed to embody. Thirdly, the very teacher I was speaking about when stating the student-teacher relationships to all of our WASC people that came to tour the school at Annalee was Miss J. She is the most hardworking, protecting, kind, caring teacher on this campus. I've never felt more safe in a classroom than when I took her class. Cutting any teacher's position by 40% is a travesty, but Miss J is the last person who should receive it. I was only enrolled in her class for 1 year, so imagine what it feels like for those who have dedicated their entire high school career to this program. Fourthly, there is a direct feed from Hillcrest Middle School to this school specifically because of this dance program. Dozens of middle schoolers get to perform in these shows and get a taste of what their high school experience might be because of this program and the students within it. We would lose a great amount of enrollment and appeal to the school if we cut 40% of the dance program. Why would the dance classes, a reason why the dance classes have small enrollment is because the dance room space is extremely limited, like others have stated. Another reason why the dance team requested to take their dance class at the El Molino campus. You can't have 30 students in a room that's roughly the same size as our circle of tables right here. Fifthly, this school benefits greatly from Prop 28, funds which have specific money set aside for the dance program that we have yet to use, thousands of dollars that we can dedicate to our dance program. This is extremely critical to focus on because that proposition is meant to keep cutbacks like this from happening. And if we don't use these funds for the programs they're allocated to, we are in danger of losing that very prop. Dance is inclusive. This is an opportunity for students who don't have the wealth or transportation to go outside classes and experience dance. This is a program that could change someone's trajectory of their life. There are dozens of students in these programs that don't have the means to take a dance class at the Movement Lab or at the Dance Center in Santa Rosa. This is their only opportunity to experience movement. If any student wants to participate, they can. They may have to audition, but no matter what, there is a place for them, a place where they can find community and a safe place where they will be accepted for who they are. Another thing to consider is the fact that dance is fun. I know you all went to school a little while ago, but times have changed, guys. Like, kids drone through school now, and teachers work so hard to make it engaging, and the overall student spirit has plummeted. Not only has it been proven time and time again that movement is an essential part of holistic education, but improves mental health as well. There are students who shine in this dance program where they feel isolated in other areas or they don't excel in academics. I can't help but agree with Ms. Borgeson that we wouldn't see these types of cuts with other sports like football or basketball. That wouldn't happen, and you know it. If you are up here, you ran for these positions because you wanted to improve students' education. I know that my fellow board members have kids and grandkids. I mean, Lewis, your stepdaughter's in this dance program. If you were in the position the parents in this audience were in right now, if your kids and grandkids were in the spot of my peers, what would you do? If something they loved more than anything, if a program that accepted and supported and loved them was practically being cut in half. As an elected board representative, I beg you to stop these cuts to the dance program. What a waste it would be for all of you in these great positions of power to take something so vital, so beautiful, away from the very community you were elected to serve.
Thank you, Alina. That was good. Anyone else want to speak up? Otherwise, I will.
I just wanted to say thank you very much to everybody for being here. And I especially want to thank the young people, our students and our previous students who had the courage to come up here and stand up here and to express their thoughts and their feelings and their concerns and in such a heartfelt manner. So thank you very much for doing that, because it's not easy to get up and be in the public and speak. So thank you.
So I have a few things to say. So as Alina mentioned, full disclosure, my stepdaughter's in the dance program. So I get it. It's amazing. And she would not be having the same high school experience with that. It's probably the most important thing to her. So pretty much everything that was said tonight, I agree with. And like, okay, now I have my board hat on. So this is the terrible soup that we're all living in. So on the one hand, all of this is true. dance is super important. It's an amazing program. On the other hand, here's some other facts. We have a $10 million reserve, like a savings account, and this next year we're going to eat up $3.5 million of that. That means 3 years out, there's no savings account. As a board president, I do not want to be in the position that we end up in 3 years like Santa Rosa. It scares the bejesus out of me with 300 cuts. So there's this terrible fiscal reality that we have to somehow balance with the huge heartfelt benefit of a program like this, which is a great program. My understanding of the way the numbers work is that a full-time teacher, like a more senior teacher that's been here for a while, it costs the district about $180,000 a year for a teacher. And the way that pencils out is that teacher teaches 5 sections and each section has 30 kids. So it's 150 kids. That's what kind of breaks even. Well, the dance program this year has 76 kids. So as much as we love it and we need it, we have to figure out where to make it. That's like a $88,000 difference lost, you could say. Where do we come up with that? And I would like to think that administration can look at this really hard and be creative, and that we can look at space, and we can really hope that enrollment can come up. It's all about enrollment. I mean, every student that comes in, every time we can add a student, it helps our budget and it reduces our loss. My understanding also, which is not real clear, but I'm pretty sure that Prop 28 money can only be used for new programs. We can't fund existing programs with
That's
Prop
not
28
true.
money.
That's not true.
Okay, maybe someone can, because I've been trying to figure that. Maybe Andrew, do you want to
Can you speak to that, please? Yeah, the funds have to go to supplement what you've already done from prior years. So when we received the funding, there had to be something new. It couldn't go back and supplant the funds that had already been there. It had to go above and beyond what you've already been spending on fine arts, all the different things that are outlined in Prop 8 or Prop 28.
I think we got to curb the back and forth.
Okay.
With the audience.
Yeah, we, sorry, but we kind of need, at this point, we need to kind of keep it into board discussion, but.
I'm also confused because if we made these cutbacks, we wouldn't have as much enrollment anyway. So where does that point come in though?
I think I can help clarify. Again, these are preliminary recommendations in terms of reducing sections. I really appreciate everybody coming out tonight. I've been able to attend a number of the dance shows, extremely impressive. It's an amazing program. We have no intention not to see the program grow. It's just not growing at the rate as 5 sections currently allocated would meet the current enrollments. We can look at further enrollment numbers as we move forward through the semester. All the course requests will be finalized on Friday. We have another board meeting next week. We would love to see 5 sections of dance continue to remain on the master schedule. This gives us an opportunity, because we're obligated to make any reductions to program prior to March 15th, to reevaluate those numbers. I see potential for 5 sections in the future once we can determine that the numbers justify allocating 5 sections. When we're looking at balancing the budget, all of our sections must serve a number of different students across the board. So these are extremely difficult decisions to make. Again, this is preliminary. We're so fortunate to have Jolene. She has a number of different credentials. Her full-time employment isn't being impacted by these preliminary decisions. We have an opportunity to continue to look at those enrollment numbers and add sections appropriately as the enrollment justifies the number of sections built into the master schedule. We utilized Prop 28 to expand the program last year with the hopes that this year we would see higher enrollment numbers. We still have an opportunity to evaluate that.
So, yeah, Jeannie.
So there's been a lot of talk about the Hillcrest program and those students that could possibly be students that join us here. Just to let people know that Hillcrest is also in a deficit spending situation. And at their last board meeting, they proposed, sorry to say, cutting their dance program. So it looks like we may only have one class, the current 8th graders coming into Annalee this next year, that would be impacted because they may not have that dance program. And I say that it was proposed. It's just like us here, that we have to make these decisions before we know where we actually truly are sitting with our funds. It's not something that we take lightly. It's unfortunate that that's how the state government works. It's unfortunate that that's how education funding works. We are given deadlines, and yet the state doesn't have to make a final decision on their budget until May. But if we do not make the changes that we need to reduce our deficit, we can't do it after the 15th of March, and then we're kind of sitting ducks with what we have. So we have to make some unfortunate cuts now in hopes that things do increase, like Chris said, and that that student choose they want this program, and they can increase the numbers so that we could have more sections. But I just wanted to bring it to people's attention that it was proposed by Gravenstein to, unfortunately, that's one of their cuts they're proposing as well.
Can I also add, just as a reminder to the board, that we have until May 14th to make final decisions. There's a lot of time. I'm really curious to see how we can reimagine the enrollment numbers, how we can fiscally and soundly allocate 5 full sections of dance. I think it would be unfortunate to reduce temporarily, but I do believe in the program and the interest, and I think it is a draw and will continue to attract students across the county as well as our resident students. So we're really having to assess those enrollment numbers, and we have a lot of time to make final decisions in terms of the number of dance sections for the 25-26 year.
So my understanding is that what we're voting on tonight is kind of like putting out a notice. It's not a final decision. We're not actually cutting anything tonight.
Right.
What we're doing is, by law, we have to like put all these teachers and programs on notice that it's possible that we would have to make these cuts. But we're hoping that in the meanwhile, through looking at enrollment, we can actually not have to make this many cuts. Is that a fair way to say it?
I think
So we're not cutting anything tonight. We're putting notice out there that we might have to.
Well said.
There was also quite a bit of talk about the size of the space. Is there any option to have a different space that the class can be
Yeah,
held in?
I mean, good question. I think that's one thing that we have discussed and will continue to discuss with staff and administration. I think there's opportunities to look at things creatively. Unfortunately, we don't have a huge dance room here, but there are other options. So I think we're interested in continuing that conversation with our staff to look at creative solutions to increase those numbers so that we can appropriately justify allocating 5 full sections. So yes, and I also do want to clarify for the board that the CTE program would not necessarily be impacted in terms of the opportunity for students to be deemed qualifiers. There's a number of different ways to meet the state standards that are required for completer status. One way is to have an intro, a concentrator, and a capstone class. The state only requires that there be a concentrator and a capstone class. Doesn't mean that we're going to go the direction of 2 dedicated CTE courses, but you can also integrate 2 courses into 1 section. I know that that is challenging because of the differentiation, and I do really appreciate the acknowledgement of the impact on students in terms of skill level and their advancement. There's a lot of variables here for us to discuss, and we have time to do that. I'm really interested in getting creative, working together to determine what the best strategy is to continue to grow this program and sustain this program. And we have time to do that.
So are we currently at one FTE for dance? Is that what we're currently at? Is that
Yes,
right?
5 sections, 1 FTE.
Linda, anything to say?
I've been on both sides of this where, I've had, when I was union president for my teachers association, we had to deal with these notices. And very often they were just very upsetting to get on the 15th. And I totally understand what you all are saying. I've been on that other side too. But again, this is just preliminary, and it's really because of what the state requires us to do. And it's not the end of the world. It's not yet. And we're going to do everything we can to make you all happy as much as we're able financially, which is kind of what our job is, financially, to be responsible for everything, everybody, not just dance, because they're also losing instructional services and all those other ones that are not here to be heard tonight. It's just, we all have to do our best to make the money go as far as possible. So I do appreciate every one of your comments. I have every one of your names in my notebook. And I thank you for coming. I know coming to a board meeting is not always fun, but we appreciate you and your time a lot. Thank you.
No, not really. More about, well, I guess I do have a little comment. When I was looking at this, when I was going over it, I was expecting there to be a lot of pushback on the dance program, the music program, and the instructional aids. So I just kind of find it interesting that it's really only the dance program that showed up. And I'm not to make light of anything or diminish any program, and because I mean, I had a daughter who was in theater and one that was in cheer and dance, and both were life-changing for them. So I mean, it's not as if I don't have a parent's perspective on this, but I'm not really sure I totally understand how this preliminary. I mean, I get the big picture. We have to do this to notice everybody and the program and the individuals involved. But I'm a little, I don't know, maybe Chris, could you maybe expand a little bit on what the process is after we get our, you said the Friday is kind of like we'll have more information, maybe a brief.
Yeah, I think yearly there's a student enrollment and a student course selection process. I think that the site has done a tremendous job of evolving that process, both in efforts to recruit students and to really ensure that the students understand the courses that they're selecting and have more support and more information. So that pushed back that process. In past years, we'd have that course selection done a little bit earlier. We have to evaluate and analyze the enrollments per section to determine where the preliminary reductions may be based on the multi-year projection and the projected reductions that Andrew explains at each budget cycle. So we're very thoughtful. We've been analyzing current enrollment trends over the past few years, and purely looking at the numbers, that's where we're looking at ensuring that we meet our deadlines. So that if those numbers don't change, we're making a fiscally responsible decision with regard to the number of students enrolled and the number of sections allocated. We also have to think equitably about other programs and other students and how they're impacted. The academic programs, the programs that are core graduation requirements. And again, I'm committed that this isn't the final answer, that I feel like I'm creative. My team is creative. I value the program. The dance show that I attended was amazing last week. I have a daughter that's 14 months that we intend to send to Gravenstein. So I envision my daughter one day dancing and then maybe being a part of this program. So it's not without support. It's not without belief. Maybe I'm an optimist, but I think that there is potential, whether it be next year or in the near future, to have 5 sections sustainably. I want to let everybody know that we're going to do everything in our power to work with our staff to make that happen. But the reason we brought forth not only the reductions in dance, but the other reductions across the board is we're in a tough time with regard to budget. And I know that the board and many of our staff, and I'm sure community members, have been following the news and looking around the county. And we're fortunate that we're having to have these discussions with the numbers that are before the board tonight and not some of the greater numbers that we see in neighboring districts. I think that the Annalee brand is amazing, and that in part is from programs like dance and like we heard some of the parents speak to. So we're going to go to work. This is just a preliminary based on analyzing our numbers, our enrollment trends, and the students that have been enrolled in these sections. So there's a lot of variables there. Again, we set our March board meeting so that we're ahead of that March 15th deadline to notice folks of preliminary reductions. We have until May 14th to take final action. And so there's time for us to get creative and for us to look at how we can reimagine our enrollments, maybe the space, so we can expand those course sections. And I'm happy to answer any other questions.
So when will the final reductions will come back to the board in May?
Correct.
Early May, before the. what
May
is it?
14th is the deadline, so yeah.
Meet
board- yeah.
before, so
Yeah.
early May is when the real hard decisions get made.
And, you know, because these are the first round, potentially, we have a projected 6 FTE reductions. You're not getting quite 6 tonight. We have an opportunity to look at the final numbers as of tomorrow afternoon. And so we're going to analyze what we brought before you this evening and analyze any additional recommendations. And then again, between then and May, to make final decisions and create final teacher assignments based on student interest and demand.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have a question. So I did my research on this and I have to be vulnerable and ask for clarification.
Sure.
If we have Prop 28 and we have specific funds set aside for programs like dance, and we currently have funds for the dance program, how is this not, like, why is this happening? If we have specific funds that we still currently have for the program, why isn't it transferring? Like, why
Well,
is this
because
happening?
the only new position that was created was the additional intro class last year. The other sections were in place. And I think, as Andrew indicated, there are specific parameters in which we can spend Prop 28 dollars. It's about a $230,000 allocation each year, of which 80% would need to be spent on staffing new program. So when we received our first allocation of Prop 28 funds, we had to look creatively, and we couldn't supplant programs or sections that had already been in place. So happy to sit down with you if you'd like to go through that. We will be revising our Prop 28 plan and allocation for sections once we kind of determine where things can fall on the master schedule. To utilize additional Prop 28 funds, we'd have to think and reimagine something new. I hope that makes sense. And that's not our
Okay.
decision.
Yeah, let's meet.
Yeah.
Let's have you explain that to me.
Happy to meet with you in my office.
Yeah, sorry, Tyler, but we can't do a whole, I hear you, but we just, that was, there's a time for that in public comment. I'm really sorry.
Just as a reminder for the trustees that have been in the seat and the new trustees, we do bring the Prop 28 plan before the board. That's a process. So some of our new trustees, will be briefed on that. And after we analyze the current second interim and these preliminary reductions, that's when we'll be revising appropriately our Prop 28 plan and maximizing those dollars for the parameters of the state. And I'm happy to, clarify that for our new trustees when we bring that plan forward, and then it'll also be a clear reminder for returning trustees as well.
I have to completely agree with Tyler, though. That's how this is perceived.
Again.
I have to completely agree with him. That's how this is being perceived right now, guys. Like, sorry, but it's true.
I mean, part of it is school financing is incredibly complex. I mean, I have a lot of business experience and it's different. And I have to rely on Andrew a lot, who I trust. And so, there's a lot of things that I don't understand the minutia of as a board member, but I believe that if there was a way that we could be pulling Prop 28 money in, that he'd be all over it. So it's not like we're just being stupid and not taking advantage. I had an interesting talk with a friend the other day who does consulting work around school funding, and she was saying how there's a ton of money still sitting in Prop 28 that no one's been able to figure out how to use because the rules around it are so bizarre that it's very hard for districts to take advantage of it. So it's been sitting there, not being effective because the access to it is very restricted the way it's written.
Can I also say something? I'm very involved in CSBA, which is the California School Boards Association, and they are currently looking at basically what CSBA does. It's they're a mechanism for us as school board members to have leverage with the legislature. Probably the best way to say that. They do a lot of lobbying for schools, and they are actually lobbying the legislature to make some changes to Prop 28 so it's not so ground up in minutia and so that it's not all set just in new funding or new programs, because CSBA realizes that most school districts don't have the wherewithal or the space or whatever to create all of these new programs. So they're working to try to maybe change some language, and which I think could be helpful. Those things take a long time, but it was good to read in our CSBA news that that's one of the things that they're trying to get things, get some things wrapped around, which will make it a little bit easier for us and everybody else, I think, when it comes to funding for Prop 28. It all sounded really great until you got down to the brass tacks of what it really specifically states.
So I kind of think we're at a place where we need to.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Again. So in kind of how I'm understanding the final cut then in May, essentially like has to come out of these ones here, right? Is that like
or any recommendations that the board considers for approval at the March 12th meeting? Yes.
So pre-March 15th.
Right, because we're obligated to notify employees, so the board must take action on preliminary reductions prior to March 15th. So we always give ourselves, so that we can have those tough conversations with folks, a little bit of extra time. That's why we had the board meetings scheduled for the 5th and the 12th. I'm very curious to continue these conversations. I look forward to meeting with Alina. We look forward to continuing our conversations with Jolene and the site administration. And obviously, we're going to get as creative as possible so that we can maximize our allocation. I think we do have a sound understanding of Prop 28, and I think the plan was sound. We were able to add the additional section for dance. We were able to bring theater, art, stagecraft to Laguna. We were able to do some different things to make sure that we met that 80%, and then the rest of the monies go back into the fine arts programs to support instructional materials and different things of that nature. So we're going to go to work. We're going to continue to analyze and examine what we can do.
Everything.
It's definitely in the discussion. So I'll say it's well aware of. Yeah. Okay. But it's definitely in the mix. Thank you.
Okay.
So we need to vote not on final cuts, but on whether we are going to put notices out just so that we've appropriately noticed folks. And then in May will be the final decisions. Any final questions? So all those in favor of just making the legal
It's a
Oh, this is?
resolution, so it's a roll call.
Roll call, okay. Rio,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
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 Lewis, reluctantly, aye. Okay, thank you, everybody. That was tough.
Back to the top of the agenda.
Okay, we're gonna go back now to reports.
Let them do it on their own. Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, all of you who came to talk, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, we would love to have you, but if I were you, I would leave. All right, reports. Elena,
I'm going to speak for Lenasia as well because she's not here and I have her report. Oh,
okay, great. Please come.
I mean, I have
Student
her
report
report right
from
here.
Laguna.
Okay.
Emily,
Hi, we're students at Laguna High School. I'm Emily.
Samantha.
And I'm Emmy. On February 14th, we took a field trip to the Academy of Sciences in San Francisco. We saw a bunch of amazing things like an albino alligator, a rainforest, had a couple butterflies land on us, the California coast, and a very beautiful aquarium.
The fourth grading period ended on Friday, February 21st. All students participated in doing a final project for the grading period that was actually really enjoyable. We had to make slides for each of our classes and had to put things that we've learned or other things that represent our time in our class.
During second and third periods, representatives from the Santa Rosa Junior College and the 10,000 Degrees were on campus to hold a FAFSA and SRJC workshop to help students in setting up their FAFSA and SRJC portals, along with the review of the 10,000 Degrees Scholarship Program and the review of the SRJC Path and Program offerings.
Miss Mullen has set up walking field trips to boost grades, help with the environment, and a great way to get out of doing things, or a great way to get, and a great way of getting out and doing things for the school. We packaged more than 100 food pouches for food for thought as well.
On March 4th, we had a guest speaker come in and give students heads up about the Summer Bridge program at the SRJC. This workshop lets us know about the 8-week program that includes unit courses, workshops, and free lunches for students that enroll in English, counseling, and stress management courses. Students also learn about student services, certifications, and campus resources.
I just want to talk a little bit about accomplishments the Student Council has done for the Laguna campus. We had our first senior sunrise. We worked on getting a vending machine put in, and we also got students on an Instagram account that would help us with announcements. I can't talk, I'm sorry. It is a process, but we have made it, so hopefully we will help. I can't talk.
So hopefully that will help get things across to students. Sorry guys, we're not very good at public speaking.
And I just wanted to add a comment really quickly. I went to Annalee High School for my first, and I didn't have anything planned. This is just off the top of my head. I went to Annalee for my first 3 years, and I have to say there was not another class other than dance that I felt as supported and as loved as in that class with Miss J. And I'm not a dancer. I didn't enjoy that class, or I enjoyed the class, but I wasn't good at the class. I did not know how to dance. But however, that class and having her there as a support system really meant a lot to me. And going to Laguna, now I have those support structures that Annalee didn't offer for me beforehand. But to cut one of the only ones that I had at Annalee is just something really hard. And I didn't know that was going on until today. So I just want to say that.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Association reports. Oh, sorry.
We had ASB elections take place, so all of our new people in those positions will be elected for the next school year in leadership. Our dance show happened last week, including the Hillcrest dance program. Our Empty Bowls night, Friday, March 28th from 5 through 7 p.m. Is a fundraiser with a recommended donation of $25 with food from our culinary program and bowls made by our beginning and advanced ceramics classes, as well as our jazz band playing. And all proceeds go to Food for Thought and Redwood Empire Food Bank, which is that's incredible that it's all dedicated for that, not even for our own program. The Winter Sports Awards are also tonight, meaning that they were scheduled on the same night as a board meeting again, same as the Fall Awards night. So please encourage our athletic directors to not schedule important sports nights at the same time as important board meetings, because I had many friends that wanted to come tonight in support of the dance program and whatnot that couldn't because of their sport. That's all I have to report.
Thank you.
It started at 7. Oh, MT Bowls is 5 to 7 p.m. It's here. It's in the cafeteria. Yeah.
And isn't it the same night as play also?
Friday. What is it? March 28th? One of the nights, yeah. But there's other nights happening.
Well, that's
Well said, Mother. Well said. Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you, Alina. Association, Ms. Medshammer.
I love hearing all these kids speak. It's really heartening
Mhm.
to hear the education that they're getting, civic education here in West County. Good evening. I'm Lily Smedshammer, and on behalf of the West Sonoma County Teachers Association, I want to thank you for including the discussion of a safe haven resolution on tonight's agenda. However, the association is concerned that it's listed only as a discussion item and not an action item. We hope to see it move to next week's agenda for action. Our district is a recognized leader in West County, and with that comes a responsibility to stand up for all members of our community. Education extends beyond the classroom, and it is imperative that we provide safety, support, and advocacy for our undocumented students and families. We urge you to lead with bravery and a firm commitment to these values. Next, we want to acknowledge and appreciate the district's willingness to engage in meaningful conversations around improving the certificated salary schedule and structure. This is an important step in ensuring that our educators are fairly compensated for their dedication and hard work. However, negotiations go beyond the salary. We've repeatedly raised concerns about working conditions and job expectations that have yet to be fully addressed. We still have work to do, and we urge the district to continue these conversations with honesty, an open mind, and a commitment to real solutions. Another critical issue that we must address is the use of our district's supplemental budget. Superintendent Meredith stated that teachers on special assignment positions will be eliminated once grant funding runs out for these jobs. Yet in fall 2025, a portion of a TOSA position, 0.3 FTE, will transition to funding from the supplemental budget. This budget, which is approximately 1.5 million, is intended to fund vital programs such as English for English learners and academic support. Later tonight, you will consider, well, dang, you just considered cutting 5 sections of academic support. Prior to 2020, we did not have any teachers on special assignment, and their responsibilities fell under district and site administrators. We must ask ourselves, are we prioritizing direct student supports and maintaining manageable student-to-teacher ratios, or are we diverting limited resources to administrative functions? This is a matter of responsible stewardship of our funds, and we urge the board to carefully consider the impact of these decisions. Lastly, I was going to address the cuts to the arts program, the music class that's being considered for cuts as well. Prop 28 to not supplant current funding was written that way so that we wouldn't divert parts of our budget elsewhere while just taking Prop 28 money to pay for classes we were already offering. But dance, this intro to dance course was a new course that was created last year. The instrumental music class, those are things we're not supposed to be cutting during Prop 28 is the thing. Like adding to it, that's especially what it's there for, but we aren't supposed to be cutting arts programs. That's not the intention of the voters of California. That's why Prop 28 passed. We recognize the tough choices you face in leadership in this district, but we ask you to make them with a clear focus on what truly serves our students. Prioritize student support, invest in fair and sustainable working conditions for educators, and uphold your responsibility to protect the funding that enriches our curriculum. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Lily. Yes, please, Julie.
Great. Hi, I'm Julie McClelland. I'm librarian here, and I am the classified president. So I'm coming to you different role now, right? Last couple of months I haven't been able to make it, so it's nice to be here for that. Thank you for your hard work. Yeah, tonight is hard. Tonight is really hard. I'm really proud of the kids for coming and speaking their minds and making things clear, hopefully, yeah, for you and for them so that things can move forward. In our chapter, we invited Jenny to come and speak to our members. I had members asking what was happening with all the building projects and how might they answer students' questions in classrooms, especially some of the paraeducators have kids asking. And so she came, she explained, it was awesome, really overall what's happening. I would say our members don't generally come to board meetings and hear all the presentations, so it was really nice to kind of have the shorter version for them to understand. And anyway, Jenny, thank you. You did a really good job. So then I had somebody else ask, so we're gonna have somebody else come speak. So anyway, I'm kind of changing that just to bring more education to our members. On the list, there are some reductions to our paraeducators, which again, as Lily was saying, they provide direct support to students. I know an hour was added to their caseloads like post-COVID, but they are still serving students in that extra hour. So if there's any way that that could not happen, that would be awesome. They come in here after school during the tutoring and help the paid tutors, the teachers that come and tutor, and they help with that. So there is extra things going on with them. We are in the middle of negotiations, as you guys know, and we'll be continuing to meet tomorrow. So we're looking forward to moving things forward. We've decided on some things and hopefully can move forward with the others. So looking forward for those things to be worked out. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much. Principal reports. Chuck or Greg or Greg or Chuck? Chuck.
Hi, folks. Chuck Wade, Principal, Annalee High School. I am very pleased to report that our WASC visit concluded last week. Actually, really glad to be on this side of that. Last Wednesday, after school in this space, we were able to show the video that the team left. They did not stay to give a presentation in person. We had 30 or so staff members eager to see that. We'll receive the full final report hopefully this week. I was expecting to have it by now. The accreditation status won't be available till sometime later after the folks at WASC itself have had a chance to evaluate the visiting committee report. By design, the visiting team doesn't share the recommendation with the site, I think, so that we don't let air out of their tires on the way out if something doesn't go our way. And I'll share both the report and the accreditation recommendation as soon as I have them. As I shared with the staff in the library on Wednesday, the visiting committee was effusive, at least in person, about the amazing things going on at our school. Time and time again, I heard phrases like, I wish we had that at our school from the visiting committee. I really can't emphasize enough the praise that they had for both the teaching and support staff, the kind things they had to say about the breadth and quality of our programming, the things they had to say about our amazing students. So I think they were pleased with what they saw, and we show off pretty well, I think. At the same time, the committee was candid and generous in identifying areas for growth. In our debrief on Wednesday, we talked about a number of ways in which we might build on the campus-wide work of the WASC process itself. We heard ideas including continuing the work in our WASC category groups. So there are six category groups that all staff on campus were invited to participate in. We could continue with those. We could use our action plan goals groups to guide ongoing work, or we could leverage grade level teams to organize impactful collaboration around areas for growth identified in the report. So we'll be talking more as a staff about how to best take advantage of the work that is already ongoing here. I'm really excited about that opportunity and about the opportunity to really leverage some of the areas for growth identified by the visiting committee. So grateful for that. Big shout out to Ann Peterson, who led our WASC effort, and the leadership team, including Bethany Hoff, Taylor Dobbins, Jonathan Lopez, Katie Benson. It was really a tremendous logistical lift, organizing that whole process from start to finish. And congratulations to everybody on campus for being part of a transparent self-study. I feel like it was honest, inclusive, and really valuable. The other thing I want to share, at least just briefly, we received our Youth Truth survey results since I spoke to y'all last. I've only really just begun looking at some of that data. We just got it, but I did want to share some information that I really looked at immediately that I think is particularly important and that has been on my mind in light of recent events at neighboring schools. As you will remember, Youth Truth is a perception survey. It measures how our community members, staff, students, and families feel about issues in 6 different categories. So academic challenge, belonging, culture, relationships, college and career readiness. One of those, in the culture category, there are a number of perception questions in all 3 survey instruments about perception around safety. I'm happy to report that self-reported feelings of safety have improved from last year on all 3 surveys, family, students, and staff. For example, the percent positives, the number of students choosing either a 4 or 5 out of 5 on a Likert scale. On the Youth Truth survey student question, I feel safe during school, increased 2% from last year to this year and 9% from the year before. Similarly, on the family survey question, my child is safe from violence at school. The percent positives improved by 10% from last year. Finally, on the staff survey question, I feel safe from violence at my school. The percent positives increased 2% from 2024. I want to give a shout out to Vice Principal Carlson. She's done tremendous work leading the implementation of our new Essential 5 approach to campus safety. It's a big transition for us. We've been running sort of new and improved protocols and drills. I think it's a much better system than we've had before. All of our vice principals, along with our amazing campus supervisor team, have worked to improve campus culture. I think I've mentioned before some of the work around bathrooms, including David Carey's tool for keeping track of our bathroom checks. I think it's working. It's sometimes a little bit frustrating not to be able to share the results of some of the campus culture work due to the confidential nature of some of the student discipline stuff. But I am pleased to see our efforts reflected in improved Youth Truth survey scores, if only incrementally so. We know we have a lot of work to do. We're going to continue to improve our systems. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Greg.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'll be fairly short and sweet tonight. And so back in February 19th, we hosted a kind of what we called a mixer. And so we invited folks in the community, business owners, to campus and really wanted to talk to them about the process of becoming a mentor or hosting one of our students at an internship at Laguna. So it was a step in, reaching out to community members. We had a decent turnout, but it was a lot of positives came from that. So as we're getting the ball rolling on that, we're really excited in making some connections. And as the students talked about in the walking field trips, I promise those aren't to get out of things, but really about getting our kids in the community and working working with Food for Thought and some of the organizations in Forestville. So really pleased with the progress we're making in that area, and we're going to continue to grind away at that. February 21st, we finished our 4th grading period, and I'm happy to report that we had another 3 graduates at that grading period mark. So that brings our total early grads to 6 this year. So I just want to give a congratulations and a shout out to those 3 for their hard work and dedication. And it's really cool to see, as we all know, as the students grow and mature and get to that point. So as Chuck mentioned, we also received our Youth Truth data as well. We've had a chance as a staff to look at some of it in a staff meeting, also a chance to look at some of it in our student council meeting. So we still have some work to do in dissecting the data and the information. We have plans over the next 5 weeks to do specifically some empathy interviews with our students in advisory in the areas where we had our lowest rated questions and our lowest rated categories. So I'm really looking forward to getting some qualitative data to come with those numbers. And you know, what is the perception, and you know, some positives in there, but still a lot of work to do to get where we want to be. So yeah, and then we have Miss Malone specifically secured 10 scholarships to the 2025 Bioneers Conference, which is held at UC Berkeley. And this is in late March. And so this event brings together social and environmental leaders from really across the globe to discuss solutions for environmental issues, social challenges. And the goal of the conference is to really emphasize leadership for the youth, environmental justice, and really kind of brainstorm about some innovative solutions to these things. So we're really looking forward to that. It's a 4-day conference. So it's a Wednesday through Saturday. So we'll be taking a group of students up each day and back each day. So really looking forward to that. February 27th, we hosted the first preview night for the Academy of Innovative Arts. I think it went pretty well, really well attended. So I was kind of circling the room and listening to some of the comments from the kiddos and the families. And lots of good feedback I overheard. We had some fun at the end. So Cole Smith was able to get the kids doing some soldering and on the Glowforge and some slot cars. And we also had a fire breathing dragon. So that was pretty cool. So lastly, what I just want to echo a couple things. You know, as Jamie said earlier, please, open invitation, please come check it out. We have rock star teachers in our classrooms. Come check out some of the amazing work they're doing. And then thank you to Jeannie and Linda for coming out and meeting. And then Jenny, thank you to you and your crew for all the hard work. If you guys haven't been out there, the paint job is going up so fast. It's looking really good. So thank you.
Oh, that's great, Greg. Thank you. That's really cool. You guys are going to Bioneers. It's quite a thing. Chris?
Short and sweet tonight. You know, we're in the process of negotiations. Yeah, bored. I was surprised there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm spaced out. Rio?
Nothing.
Linda?
Gina and I did go out to Laguna, and it was really nice, and it looks good. The paint job looks great, really good. And it was so nice for Greg to sit down and show us the slideshow that he was going to do for the Academy, because I was unfortunately not able to go. And it was so nice to see the details there and the class, you know, the potential class schedule and everything. And I thought it was, you know, the reports that I heard was really good. And then last night, I was a judge at the FFA regional speech contest for a bunch of sophomores doing impromptu. It was, they were good. It was good. I really enjoyed it. So that's what I've been doing.
Nice.
So,
Mr. Chernilla?
No report.
I'm surprised.
Shocked. I know.
So, yes, I have a report. Thank you. Last Wednesday, I was a judge for the local FFA speech contest. And I judged impromptu like Linda judged last night. And it's really interesting to listen to these kids just be able to pick a word or pick a phrase and take 1 minute and then turn around and tell us about that. It was quite interesting. I don't know that I could do that well. And they get 2 minutes to speak. Amazing. The Annalise students did very well that night. And then I also attended the preview of the Academy opening. I was very honored to be there and was so thrilled to see about 75 people there. I thought that was just amazing. We had students that have already registered. We had plenty of parents that were there that didn't bring their students, which I thought was interesting. And then we had a lot of other interested community members. And I engaged with a couple they live in Forestville, but one of the guys used to work at SCO and was an industrial arts teacher as well. So he was really intrigued with this, and they just came to see kind of what's going on. And so that was really, really very nice. Was great Q&A that Greg did, just answering lots and lots of questions from parents, which I thought was very helpful. And I think we'll see enrollments come from that, and hopefully we're going to do another preview as well. And then last night, I was also a judge for the FFA Regional Speech Contest. I judged job interviews. It's funny, they called Jeannie, meaning Jenny, and so Jenny was supposed to go, but she wasn't in the room here when they called me, so I thought, oh, well, they must have changed what I'm doing, so I went. And a little while later, Jenny appears, and so Jenny and I, we just switched roles, but it was kind of funny. Anyway, she's probably really glad that she didn't do job interviews. We started at 3:30 and I left here at 9 p.m. last night. It was a really long night.
For board meetings.
But I was really very impressed with these students. And I am very pleased to announce that an Anley student won first place in the speech contest. Yeah, so that was really very neat. Also, oh yeah, and same thing Linda said. Linda and I met with Chuck and the Anley office staff week before last. It was very helpful. Great, just communication, great dialogue about what's going on, what people need, just thoughts and feelings. I was really pleased to be able to do that. We met with Greg and then Shannon also out at Laguna. Had some very long conversations, but again, very helpful. And we also plan to meet with a lot of other staff as well in the near future. We also met with Dan and Andrew this last week. We had a really nice lunch meeting and just kind of get to know Dan a little more because he's new, and then just one of the things that we're always asking folks when we meet with them is, what do you need? What can we do to help? And, what are your concerns? So that was really, really very helpful. I also agree the paint job out at the El Molino campus is looking mighty fine. And I love the touch of gray. I think it's really awesome. And how it ties in with the theater. I think that's really super. So if you haven't been out there, you should go check. There's a lot happening out there, and I think it's going to start to look really, really nice when they get all of the paving done. I know it's a little bit crazy right now because there's so much that's happening, but yeah, that's all. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you, Jeannie. Thanks for doing those informational interviews.
Yeah,
Well, you and
yeah.
Julie did it last year. I think it's
Mhm, me and
really,
Julie did it last year.
really
I think it's
helpful.
really helpful.
Yes, thank you for doing that. I just would reiterate about the open house at the academy. It was really inspiring, and there were a lot of people there who don't have kids of that age that were just curious. A lot of Forestville people, and in general, it felt like they were really supportive. So I feel like that school initiative is also a good bridge to the community. I think it's helping with all of that. So I'm excited about that program. That's it. Now you can go, Chris. Sorry.
That's all good. We're in our negotiations cycle with both WSETA and CSEA. I thought we had another good session, moving closer with our labor partners and the Teachers Association. Again, our process has been very collegial with no CTA rep and attorney at the table. We have CSEA on Thursday. We're looking forward to continuing to work with both of our labor partners in hopes of coming to a tentative agreement soon. LCAP cycle is starting in March. As I mentioned in previous meetings, we'll have 3 meetings to revise year 1 of the LCAP, March, April, May. So we're looking forward to bringing those educational partners that contributed in the past and hopefully adding some new insights to the committee as we continue that good work. We've heard about the Academy Preview Night. It was really well attended. It was a good time, and it it gives us just some clarity as to where we're at in our process, and we feel really good about that with already 22 students enrolled in the program coming from 12 different schools. Golden State Field Day is something that happens yearly out at El Molino, and we got FFA chapters in the ag world, welding and building really cool barbecues. So popped over there to check it out, and then Dale Doherty typically has an exhibit at the North Bay Science Discovery Day at the fairgrounds, which is an annual event, and I was invited to host a table to help promote our school, the Academy of Innovative Arts, but also kind of in collaboration with Dale's Make Table. We'll have a nerdy derby at our table, so I'm going to facilitate a cool activity. And I thought it was really interesting because I had heard about the event, but I've never really looked into it. There's a lot of really, really cool exhibitors that show up. I mean, and a lot of different high school and college programs showcasing their STEM, STEAM, and project-based programs. So that is Saturday. So I'll be working on Saturday, but it'll be a fun event. And I've invited the family, and I'm excited to see a lot of kids come out and explore the sciences and the arts. So.
Okay, we're moving on. So we're now back at Education Services, but we're at number 1, which is a discussion regarding district safe haven resolution and policies. And so
it's not an action item
discussion,
tonight,
so we
yeah.
don't need to. It doesn't really. Does it need any introduction? We can just discuss it.
I think, as is our process, that I think, really evaluated last year when the student activists brought forth their interest in the board adopting a resolution. I wanted to ensure that, we had an opportunity to have a discussion if needed. I'm in favor of moving forward. I've had a chance to meet with with some teachers interested. I've had a chance to really collaborate with other Sonoma County superintendents. We've had an opportunity to hear various perceptions of legal advice from a number of different legal providers, including SCLS and our legal representatives in F3. Initially, when the executive orders came out, the superintendents came together with the county office officials and looked at messaging and protocols, and that helped us to create our flow chart for how we handle immigration enforcement, give us an opportunity to examine the current policies, which are sound. We have the most current CSBA policies around immigration enforcement and administrative regulations. So as you all recall, we carefully drafted messaging for our community to ensure that we had our protocols in place regarding the potential for immigration enforcement to exercise their duties on any of our campuses. In 2016, 2017, the district passed a resolution that wasn't titled Safe Haven. The title is in the resolution. It's a little different, but it's essentially the same type of language that we're seeing within the other Safe Haven resolutions that have been adopted by some of the neighboring districts. So I'm looking for some direction. I'm happy to go to work on this and bring back a resolution that's appropriate at the March 12th meeting. Yeah.
We could take public comment. You want to say something?
Good evening, Superintendent Meredith, board members, district community. My name is Daniela Kingwell, Annalee alum, and my daughter here is a student at Annalee. For context, again, I teach English for multilingual students, or ESL, at Santa Rosa Junior College, which among most large school districts in the area has renewed and expanded on our Safe Haven resolution, which was originally passed in 2017. Today, I just read that 3 people were arrested by ICE in Sonoma County yesterday. 2 in Santa Rosa and 1 in Cotati Rohnert Park. I'm coming to the district with a request to renew the Safe Haven resolution. As I mentioned last time, with the current administration, many families are living in fear, and many other families would like to learn how to become allies. And again, as I mentioned, it would be a tragedy if even one of our community members were taken away by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. I personally spoke today with administrators at Sonoma Valley, Santa Rosa City Schools, and Petaluma City Schools, who all confirmed with me their renewal of Safe Haven policies. I encourage this district, to look at the Safe Haven resolutions that are attached to the agenda for this board meeting
and to renew our resolution. I would also love to see cards like these from the North Bay Rapid Response Network and Immigrant Legal Resource Center available all across the district, here in the library, in the offices, in the classrooms. Not sure if they're here yet or not. And as mentioned on this brochure from the Santa Rosa JC Dream Center, 8 million US citizens live with at least one undocumented family member. Of course, California is probably the state with the highest number. As educators, we have a responsibility to not only state that we support our undocumented students and families, but show it through our actions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I have a question. Louis, I wonder with the DEI meeting on Tuesday, it's not too late to amend the agenda, and I'm wondering if that's a good place to have that discussion in terms of beyond this discussion and draft revise the resolution. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think we can really tune up our resolution. I think we can make it more current and stronger. And I would like to see whether we can talk about whether through DEI or whether somehow a couple of us can come back with a draft that I would hope that we could approve at our next meeting. I don't think there's any resistance in this at the board level at all. We feel strongly about it.
I really like the idea of the DEI committee working on that and then bringing us a draft resolution after they've discussed it.
So I think
that's kind of what we envisioned their role to be.
It's true.
Well, I think that because we have to post the agenda on Friday, Louis, you and I could look at the current language, build the item, and then if there's any other suggestions or revisions, then attach that before the board meeting on Wednesday. But just know that we would have to have the agenda built, by Friday for next week. So
we should do that.
Yeah.
We should do that. And then we can, because the meeting's on Monday or Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, the DEI meeting's on Tuesday. We could amend that agenda. Sorry.
What we're talking about is
Monday.
at the Tuesday DEI meeting, actually hammering out a new draft that would be ready to bring to the board at the following meeting. I think it's totally doable. It's not rocket science. We know where we're headed and we have ChatGPT, so we can figure it out. Yes, please.
Okay, hi, I'm Christy Lubin. I'm a special education teacher.
Mhm.
I'm from the department, just cut 5 sections, full-time teacher, but that's not what the agenda item is right now. I'm still kind of processing that. So I'm the one who came to you about the Safe Haven resolution last month and helped work on the first one. And I'm really glad that the district is willing to move forward and look at a kind of broadened and more comprehensive resolution. I also wrote this letter that you all received that was signed by every single department chair at Allen High School who went to their departments and got approval. So that was, how many teachers do we have? 100 teachers? Okay, 100 teachers, almost 100, but that was, it's been a long day. I'm very tired. But, that's a lot of support. And I've been here this is my 15th year. And this is the first time that I actually, outside of, drumming up support for our Teachers Association and that we've taken a stand like this as a staff politically. Because when we talk about sense of belonging and we talk about safety, this is symbolic. It has some grit, but it's very symbolic, and it sends a really strong statement to our immigrant families. And right now our government is reinstating the registry program where undocumented people 14 years old and up are going to have to register. They're trying to figure out how to make it happen. So we may have we have undocumented students, and they will have to register as undocumented people. So when I met with Chris, I was really sad because at the initial stance was the district got legal advice not to have a safe haven resolution. And I'm really glad that we're kind of moving in a different direction. But I like to say that DEI may be a place to work on this resolution, but does the community most affected, are they part of the DEI committee?
Yes.
And
yeah.
That I think there's some really good models. Santa Rosa City Schools, Petaluma, Napa. There are some very, very good models out there that we can use as reference.
I would just like to clarify, thank you so much, Christy, that, you know, in listening to a number of different attorneys and their stance on this, it was more so rather than legal advice not to do it, but the concern was the safety of our students and potentially our immigrant families with regard to, you know, making them a target through certain avenues. So I did want to clarify that it was very, it was a kind of a daunting process to absorb those executive orders and really look at how we crafted careful messaging, examine those executive orders, examine board policies, and really fully understand and then educate our staff as to, you know, immigration enforcement, right? So I did want to clarify that. So I'm in full support of this, and I think we can put together an appropriate agenda item by Friday, but also give the DEI committee a voice and a position on this.
I have to say, I find myself pulled in two directions on this in terms of publicly posting a document with the name Safe Haven, which can be scraped up by Doge or, you know, the administration, and whether we're not being skillful enough in implementing these things that we feel strongly about, but without making it such a target. And I don't know whether I'm just being paranoid or not, but I believe very strongly that we need to have this policy, and we need to really make sure that we implement it and we teach it. I mean, I know we have the flowcharts, but I don't know to what extent we've taught the flowcharts to all our staff, and that's important. But I don't know. I mean, we can talk about it at the DI committee, but this is an interesting conundrum, I think, around getting the important work done and whether it's important to just make a stance and say, we're going to do this anyway and we're going to shout it to the world, or whether we want to do it on the QT. I don't know the answer to that. Jeannie.
Thank you for saying that, because that's always been one of my concerns, is that we actually maybe put more people at risk by making certain statements or it's very easy for anybody to Google California schools that have safe haven resolutions. And then my concern is that then do we target our community? And some would say, yes, let's shout it to the rafters and we don't care. But I care, because I care that we could create a real major issue. And so I think we have to be a little cautious. So thank you for your comment.
It's tricky, very, very tricky. Anyone else want to weigh in on this? John, Linda, Rio? No.
You know, Mike, thank you.
Not saying anything that wasn't just said, but when I saw this, the first thing I thought was, so you're saying you have undocumented students? You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
so it's like, you know, I'm in favor of this, but I'm also, I'm not sure what the right path is, because it really, I mean, you said it's symbolic, and part of that is I mean, it might have some teeth, but part of that is making sure that our students feel safe, and by us saying, yeah, we hear that, we are committed to making this a safe haven school, where it's like it might make people feel good, but yeah, what's it really doing? And does like, what am I trying to say here? Does you know, having a renewed safe haven document really benefit our students? Because we already have one. It does. Okay.
I think
What if
let's
we
avoid
have one that we don't use the
dialogue back and forth with the public. Let's talk.
What if we?
Yeah.
What if maybe we don't use those specific
discussion.
words?
I think that's an option. I think honestly, I think it's a statement. It's a stance. It's how we represent and support our community. And I think we've heard loud and clear that this is something that the community feels strongly about. That's why I propose putting it on the agenda. I think that we have clear policies. Our policies are as clear as can be. I've been very transparent in terms of immigration enforcement and how they can exercise their authority, right? Through a warrant signed by a federal judge or through using the words exigent circumstances. I believe our site administration has, dispersed and talked with their staffs. We have talked about it at length in our leadership meetings in terms of our response should immigration enforcement come to our campuses. So I'm looking for direction from the board, but I think it is a statement that our community stands behind.
I also feel like if we do go that route, because I appreciate the counter argument. Like you guys are right. Like this is a really very strong direction we could go either way. But if we don't take on that title, we still should have some kind of maybe even student training or something like that, like teaching us what to do if ICE comes to our campus in place of that, in lieu of that. If we don't want to make that type of statement, we should still back it up with something. Does that make
Totally.
sense? Okay.
Yeah, I feel very strongly that we need to do it. It's just it's just maybe how we
No, I see
name
your
it
point,
to be
yeah.
searched by Google or something is really the only thing. So it's a discussion item.
Greg, did you have something?
Good, Greg?
Come to the podium, please, with the mic.
Go up.
No, Lewis, I was just thinking to kind of there, and Sean, to your counter argument, but we also have SCO and Santa Rosa Junior College and many other districts in our surrounding area doing it. So there may be, some strength in numbers there too. So that's
True. Also true.
Yeah. So Lewis, my opinion is that we move forward and with creating a resolution and even though obviously I do worry about it, but Greg's comment is
Do it,
pretty
call it
valid.
what it is, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And in your packet, you've seen the examples of some of the neighboring districts.
So what I'm hearing is that the board would like the DEI committee to come up with a good draft of a resolution. And what I'm hearing is name it Safe Haven and bring it back for the next meeting. Does that sound right?
You guys should talk about that amongst yourselves as well and see what they all come up
Could be
with.
part of, maybe
That's a
we'll
good
come back
idea.
with two
Yeah, and just
What-
see, I mean,
without, okay.
you could share some of our thoughts with them and then see. what
Just
they-
know that I have to post the agenda prior to the DEI meeting. So my thought was, put together a draft that's very similar to what we see, and then let the DEI committee make some revisions, and then we could post that to the agenda, and the board could even wordsmith on the spot should they feel the need to. Just to make sure that we appropriately post the agenda and the appropriate attachments that the board would take action on.
So we'll just post the existing resolution the old resolution as a starting point with as the agenda attachment.
Yeah, and then I think you talk it over
we'll
with the
update it.
DEI, and then we can agree on the resolution that you would adopt via a roll call next week. Otherwise, it would have
Okay.
to wait until April, and I don't want to delay that based
No, we
on
should just
what
do
we've
it.
heard from our community.
Okay, good. Okay, moving on. Such funny irony. Consideration of approval of resolution March, establishing month of March as Art Education Month.
Do I have a motion?
Do we have a motion?
I move that we consider approval of Resolution 14, March 2025, establishing the month of March as Arts Education Month. I think I wasn't
Second.
on all the
So
way,
moved.
sorry.
Second.
I did.
Discussion?
Casey suggested this. This is something that we've seen in a number of schools. We brought this before the board last year. One thing that I'll reiterate is when we have a resolution, I believe it's important, and if it's something that's ongoing, we bring it back on an annual basis. So I reached out to Casey. Very few changes here. Really, it was just the date. We wanted to ensure that there were no other sponsors that Casey wanted to add to the resolution. So I recommend that the board approve the resolution.
Other discussion? I mean, I'm just kind of overwhelmed with the irony of the tough choices we're having to make around arts education and then turning around. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's a perfect sign of the times, but yeah, of course,
Well,
of course we should.
What I think this does, Lewis, is it does reiterate that we support the arts. We maybe don't 100% like what's being thrown at us with the budget, but that we do support the arts program. I mean, I, for one, am just amazed at what our teachers do in the arts programs between dance and music, whether it's choir or band, and then our ceramic arts and that sort of thing, and then our theater programs. Amazing. And I'm probably missing somebody, but it's amazing what our students do, and it's amazing that we actually, Randy Hall's program, yes, in the media arts. It's amazing what these teachers are able to bring to us. It's a real talent, a real talent. Not everybody can do what they do, and then to be able to share that with our students is phenomenal. And it's so, from when I went here 50 years ago, there were nowhere near the arts programs that we have. And I, for one, am really proud of that. So I know it seems like kind of a bit of a slap, but it lets the community know that we really do support our arts programs.
Any other comments or discussion? So it's a resolution, so we have to do a roll call vote. Rio?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Jeannie?
Aye.
Lewis? Aye. All right, thank you. Consideration approval of proposed new text in Ag 20, Intro to Plant Science, Plants and Society. Do we have a proposal?
Motion.
A motion, sorry.
I motion.
Okay. Second,
I'll second.
discussion.
I recommend we approve. This is a second reading, so we've touched on the new tax for ag.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, we are at Human Resources. Consideration of approval of mutual agreement to open additional article for contract negotiations with West Sonoma County Teachers Association. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Dan, you want to explain this?
Sure. So as both Lily and Chris have mentioned, we've been having productive sessions with WSCTA, most recently this past Monday. Among the items that we sunshined a number of articles and items in the fall. And in our sessions we've had thus far, there was mutual agreement to open one additional article that was not sunshined in the fall. So we did reach out to our attorney to make sure that that was in fact something we could do by mutual agreement. And we're assured that we could bring it forth as an item as long as we give an opportunity for public comment. So we are requesting that the board approve the opening of Article 9 on leaves. We want to clean up and sort of clarify some language around personal business leave and actually streamline that process for staff. So that is the item that you are under consideration of. It's again mutually agreed by both WSCTA and the district that this would be beneficial.
Great. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Great. Consideration of approval of the 25-26 school year calendar.
So
Do
moved.
we have a motion, a second, please?
Second.
Okay, is there anything related to discuss? It sounds like it's about the approval
It's-
of the school year calendar.
It is about approval of the school year calendar. So you have a draft calendar attached to the item. Looks very similar to this year's calendar. The couple just important dates to note: August 11th would be the first day back for staff. That's a Monday. August 13th, first day for students, is a Wednesday. Final day of school would be the Thursday, June 4th. There was discussion with WSCTA and agreement to move the emergency closure days to midweek in April. So we did put that as one slight change from this year, and the WSCTA brought that to their membership, and they did support that. So otherwise, I think most of what you see there is very comparable and similar to what we had of the calendar this year.
Sorry. So if we moved, I'll give you this back. If we moved the emergency days to Wednesday, would our Mondays be then a Wednesday schedule so that it's equal?
I believe typically that's what happens when
yeah.
when you move a block
Cool.
day around with that. I'm
Cool.
presumably that would be the case. I'll leave that to some other folks.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
Any other questions, comments, problems with the schedule? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, we've already done B3. B4, consideration of approval of resolution to decrease the number of classified employees due to lack of work and or lack of funds. Do we have a motion?
I move that we consider approval of resolution number 16, March 2024-25, in the matter to decrease the number of classified employees due to a lack of work and or lack of funds.
Second, please.
Second.
Okay.
So these are the classified recommendations for either reductions or elimination of positions. I can just kind of talk briefly about what's being proposed here. You'll see that the total FTE recommended to be eliminated or reduced is 2.375 FTE. I do want to note that the bulk of that 2.375 FTE is currently vacant. So I can walk through the 8 position numbers that we're recommending for elimination, and as I do, I can explain where the ones that do not actually have anyone in those roles currently. So position 577 is an administrative assistant 1. It's a 3-hour-a-day position here at Annalee. Position 589 is a 5-hour health technician, and 4 of those hours are currently unallocated. I want to be clear, this is not cutting the 7-hour health tech that is at Annalee currently. We were able, through the work with the consortium, the consortium council agreed to add a 5-hour health technician position to help support the virtual nurse that has been employed for Annalee this year. We were not able to find a person to fill that vacancy, so the current health technician at Annalee, who is a 7-hour employee, picked up 1 extra hour. The other 4 hours of those have been vacant, so we have had the job posted, but we have not been able to find anyone. Position 497, well, a number of the other ones, anywhere where you see the 1-hour-a-day paraeducator, so that was referenced by Julie in her report a couple of years back, I believe it was, post-COVID, or the 6-hour paraeducator positions, and 1 hour was added with its own 2 initially, okay, and then drawn back to 1 with their own position number. So the recommendation is to reduce back to the original 6 hours for paraeducators. Of those 5 positions that would be, or those 5 1-hour spots that would be reduced, 1 of them is currently vacant. The other 4 impact current employees. And then there is 1 currently vacant paraeducator position, position 587, that we are recommending not be replaced. So again, the effort was really made here to make some fiscally responsible reductions and try to have as minimal impact as possible on actual staff. And I'm happy to take questions.
And again, this is voting to notice, not voting to cut, just like the other one.
I have a question. What's your process for
looking for new hires for that position? Like you said, you were looking.
So our primary platform that we post positions on is called EdJoin, and it's used pretty universally in schools. For certificated positions, it's works very well. I'll just say that's where most educators know to go to look for teaching positions, administrative positions, that kind of a thing. Not as simple with certain classified positions. So we have tried other organizations. I know, for instance, Los Cien is a local nonprofit organization that puts out job postings and things. So we have sent job postings to that organization to help get out to a wider audience, and similar local entities. But EdJoin is still where most of our positions are posted and how people apply for those positions.
Thank you.
Other questions? Comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now we get, okay, Rio,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Jeannie,
Aye.
Louis, aye. Return to closed session if necessary, not necessary. Next board meeting, March 12th at the Annalee Library, not here at the Annalee Library. No, here at the Annalee Library. I'm sorry. The April 9th meeting is at El Molino. And the May meeting's at El Molino, and the June meetings are at El Molino. But the next meeting is here. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.